We'll let your computers do the connecting. Let our friends come in. It can't all be instantaneous like we want it to be. So I'd love to give it a few seconds and let everybody get in. But welcome, welcome. I'm glad to see you guys. Awesome. Well, I don't want to waste any of your guys' time. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to get started. And I want to just remind you guys, when you see me, I'm the partner manager here, but I'm also your direct connection to the land pilot. And honestly, I can only say more your friend than anything else. So when we're having these kinds of meetings and Q&As that are led by me, it's fireside chat mode. You guys are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask a question at any time. Unmute yourselves to have conversations between each others if it's about the topic. Really, I like this to be a time where we're benefiting each other and businesses by sharing our notes. Because if you're noticing something in one state and I'm noticing something in another state and we're actually communicating and sharing those things, our business is going to get further, faster together. So I am going to give you guys some resources to start, because even if you only had 5 minutes, 10 minutes to show up here today, I want you to walk away with something. So I want to make sure, let me get my screen shared. There we go. That you guys are aware of this platform. So the Land Pilot is something that is a done for you disposition service. And I'm not going to give you the whole spiel about that today. No worries there. We're definitely diving into actually comping and making sure that you guys have resources in regards to that. But in here is where those resources live, and you have access to that for free. So if you don't have access to that yet, I'm literally going to put it into the chat. It's portal.thelandpilot.com. You can register completely for free, and then you're going to be looking at this page that we're looking at together right now. And on the left-hand side, you'll click resources. And down here is where we share some of those things that made Robin successful, some of the reasons he has sold over 1,000 properties. He's already just given you some of that, which is wonderful. And the most important is the deal calculation spreadsheet. That's what we're focused on today. But I want you guys to have that in front of you so that you can play around with it while I'm here and ask me questions. Like if you run into something where you're like, oh, this isn't working for me, or I'm struggling with this aspect in the spreadsheet, like I do mean it fireside chat mode, we can share notes in this time and you can bring that kind of feedback and make sure that it's working for you. So first and foremost, let me follow through and actually give you that link in the chat here. Yes, Dean, we're only going to be here for an hour, but the whole recording will be shared on Facebook. And I'm happy to tag you in that. Drea, do you mind writing that down, that we tag Dean in the recording, please? Thank you. All right, portal.thelandpilot.com. There we go. Make sure that link works. If it doesn't, holler in the chat or something like that. And then if you guys don't mind, can I get a couple thumbs up in the chats or a Y for yes, that I'm not lagging and you can hear me easily? I'm always a little nervous about that. Oh, thank you guys. All right, awesome. Beautiful. Now I'm looking at you again, which is exactly what I want to be doing. Okay. Before we go any further, who am I? Why are we listening to me? All of that fun stuff I definitely need to tell you guys so that you hang out with me for the next hour. Oh no, it kicked me out. There we go. My name's Corianne Wright, guys. I'm the partner manager here at the Land Pilot. I'm employed by Robin to take good care of you. And literally it is my job to help you envision either how we slot into your business, or if we don't, I will be honest about that as well, and to try to give you resources or connections to the right people to move your business forward no matter where you are. That's my job here. I am licensed in the state of Colorado, And I come from the single family world. I am actually have a passion for art. I studied art in college, did a kind of transition from art to real estate. They're surprisingly connected in terms of seeing a vision and creating something, except real estate is more truly grounded in that because you're creating something that isn't just ethereal. So my brain works in that creative space, and even I can calculate my comps in this spreadsheet. It makes it easy, even though I do not have the math brain, if you will. My most impressive deal to date, even though I have flipped single families, I wholesale quite often single families, is actually a land flip. And I have not done many of those, but my land flip was a hold for 2 years and then a resell for 6 figures profit, which was really fun. Most people know me as the co-host of Straight Out of Compton alongside Jamil Damji. He is a coach and leader in the single family wholesale space. And I also have my own podcast called Ask an Agent Anything, where I am just sharing my expertise as I run into the questions that people have for realtors who actually understand investing. So that happens once a week. I live in the middle of nowhere, most people say. So I'm on an 85-acre ranch here in Colorado. I've got goats and chickens and too many dogs and all that fun stuff. And then I am literally happy on the phones. Like I am reachable to you guys on the phones. And I spend a lot of time reaching out to agents or sellers and chatting while I'm probably playing with my dog or painting. That's what I love to do. I want you guys real quick to steal this number. And guys, I don't give this number out often. This is actually my cell phone number, but I'm appreciative that you're hanging out with me here today. And I want to make sure that you have that. You might also hear from me at my work number, which is a 469 number in Texas. But this is my cell, and that link will get you onto my calendar. So if you're like, hey, I need a longer conversation about what's going on in my business, or I want to see how I might slot into dispositions, that's the way to get a hold of me, and I'm more than happy to have that conversation. All right. The next place I want to jump to is making sure that you understand exactly how to get this calculator. Like we're going to walk through every step. So you're going to click download deal. And this bad boy is going to pop up just like this. A second, let me get rid of that. All right, I just got more space so I can move about. Okay, and then you're going to say use template. This is yours. I highly suggest just saying file, make a copy, and renaming it something so that you know, hey, this is the one I can play around with. This is completely mine. That is what I've done here. We're just going to jump over to a new tab. This is mine so that I know I can play with it. And it is quite as simple as I fill out the purple, I change some whites in additional places. And other than that, it's going to pump out numbers for me. And I'm so grateful for this because especially as somebody who comes from single family and is trying to transition more into a land space, I'm like, hold my hand and don't make me do too much math, please. So this is exactly what this does. Now, initially things like adding the property APN, county, state, county assessor link, Zillow link, all of that fun stuff, absolutely important, especially when you're in a place of they're motivated. In some of our things that we're talking about today, doing that additional work is going to be you watching me click around. So I don't want to put you through that, that kind of trauma in regards to just watching it, because really sometimes it can feel just like a slug. The beauty of it is here, we're trying to make quick decisions and we're trying to get quick comps over to you guys. So I'm going to be skipping some of that APN stuff and I'm going to get straight into the juice of what are the comps and how does that spit out numbers? Because I want to know what the best acquisitions cost is. And you might be asking yourself, why is a dispositions company here showing me an acquisition side? And I'll tell you exactly why, because we hope at a certain point that we're the right partner on your disposition side. And some of the ways to become that right partner is that you start making checks consistently in your land business. And so even just having this acquisitions template and format and ability to get to that right number is going to benefit us in the long run in regards to hoping to be your partner in that dispositions and wanting you to be at the right number, because nothing will exhaust you more in this business than getting under contract, having done all of that work, the negotiating, the relationship building, rapport, oh, and being at the wrong number and not being able to sell on the other side. So for the benefit of having you guys stick to this business and it be something that actually gives you the freedom that you want in your life. For me, it's painting. For you, I can't wait to know what it is. But those dreams always come with that entrepreneurial aspect of I'm here being a land flipper. I'm here in the real estate business. So we hope this is a good tool for doing that. Now, the things that are going to be most important to me as I'm doing a quicker comp is to come in here and know the property shape, which I probably pulled from a Google Maps, so it's not too hard to put that link in here. But I want to know whether it's regular or irregular. I want to know what the road access is, paved, dirt road, private, landlocked. That's going to be a huge difference in my numbers. Subdivision or rural. Development potential. Potential that could get a little difficult. We can always talk about how we support you in finding out whether it's a good development or what it's zoned at. But for now, you could just put yes or no, whatever it might be. Any additional notes in the property acreage. But what gets really like spicy and fun in this particular calculator is if you add acreage and you add sales price of sold comps. That's what we do in this particular section. It is going to help you know your exact offer. And I'm looking forward to doing this on a property. If you guys happen to have a property right now where you're asking yourselves questions about it or you would want it comped, I'd rather do something that moves you guys forward than just pull something random off of Redfin. So feel free to drop that into the chat and we'll get there shortly. So the other aspect is for sale comps. And honestly, this is one that I think people miss pretty often. I haven't seen a lot of people include for sale in their calculation. And where this gets incredibly important is especially if you're looking at a discounted price and making that flip happen in a short timeline. Let's say you're assigning or wholesaling in that model. You need to make sure that you're the hottest, best deal when you hit the market. And so if you have for sales that are sitting at 100K for over 90 days into 120 days, or even worse, 300, like we're talking about, oh, that price for whatever that hopefully comparable property is not actually the right price. One of the things that I say quite often is, well, the market has rejected your price, and that's because it hasn't sold. It's sitting at that number. Often that's when realtors start to make that choice of just like dropping it 5K every other week, trying to figure out what number is actually going to hit because they don't have these kinds of tools of actually locking in and saying, no, what's the number that's going to sell? So we want to look at that in regards to what's happening on the market so that when we get our pickup price for whatever our sale price is going to be, we're still below whatever has been sitting on market that hasn't sold. The solds are more like feedback and more of a benefit to us to show us what that number is, but we've got to be the best thing on the market, which is why we've got to look at the for sales. This is actually becoming more and more important. I can at least speak to my markets, which are Northern California and Colorado. What we're seeing is that things are sitting on the market longer. And as they sit on the market longer, we have to adjust for our future resale price. So we've had to bring down our purchase price in a couple of our key markets because things are just sitting active so long. We have to assume that when we resell, it's going to be below that number. And that's, I mean, assuming in real estate is never fun. Like there is additional risk anytime I cannot prove what my resale number is going to be. And if things are just sitting active on market and they're not actually selling, then I don't have sold comps. And this is more of an issue, by the way, in the single family space than it is in the land space. Land is still trading because of the types of buyers that go after that land still have cash. the family with the 2.5 kids and those kinds of things that are trying to do financing under these interest rates are mostly the kind of people that are running up against this. But we might as well, in the land space, start making the action of making sure that we know what does sit on market and what is actually desirable in any given market. So that's why we have this space here. All right.
So
I think
do
we
you have
need
a
to do
rule
a
of,
comp.
do you have kind of a rule of thumb of, okay, that particular price on that particular lot is 100,000, but it's been on the market for 125 days at that price. So do you say, well, okay, then it's really only probably worth 80, or it's only, or do you just say you don't use that as a comp?
So I use it as a wall almost, saying, okay, a comparable property to that will not reach that number. That is officially a wall. But I would ideally have sold comps that actually give me that number rather than just making an assumption based off of an active, because sometimes that can be bad due diligence. Like if they've listed it as a property you can build on and you can't, well, of course it's not selling at that number. And I have to make sure that I'm doing enough research that I can kind of account for that. But here's what I will tell you that I think is honestly a better answer is that it depends on how many likes sit next to that listed date. So if I'm looking at something that has sat on market for 90 days and has 150 likes, the percentage versus in regards to who's been out there interested on those many days that it's sat there is pretty good. But I'll tell you, more than likely, I'm going to see something like a 90 days with like a 4 saves or a 10 saves. And then I know they're way off, that the people that are on these kinds of things that are scrolling, looking for their future land for retirement homes are going, no, that doesn't fit what I would spend for that type of land. And so I automatically go, okay, they're not even liking these types of properties. I have to be aware of that at that price. Does that answer your question, Dean?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stop here because I have been doing some rambling for some time. Does anybody else have any questions on just how to utilize this buy side part of the calculator? Cool. It means I'm doing a pretty good job teaching it. I'll take it. Awesome, Ed. Thank you. Yes, we will comp it. Real quick, I want to tell you about this very elusive sales side of the calculator that so many of you guys don't know about, but I'm excited to make sure that you can utilize this whether or not you're actually working with the land pilot. It is most useful, of course, if you are working with the land pilot because we're giving you our costs in dispositions in that calculator so that you can understand what your takeaway is. That being said, it can also work for you if you're buying and you're selling. We still want to see you be successful at that. So really what you need to focus on is right here on this little left-hand side corner of the sale side. This is getting into nitty-gritty above my head stuff. I'll be totally honest. If you want to know more about note holds or note sales or installment sales, we will get Robin in here and we will ask him. But I just want to focus on your cost for a simple wholesale, simple assignment and utilizing us and what that looks like. So in case you're like, who is us? The land pilot is a done for you disposition service. We do your due diligence. We do your marketing. We send out a drone pilot. We hire your realtor. We do everything in terms of being an easy, like smash an arm on your disposition side. So now you can focus on acquisitions and get as many contracts as possible. You want to know more about that? You now have my cell phone number. We can absolutely talk about it. But outside of that, what you need to do in here is put your purchase price, the purple. I bought it for 20,000. Who knows what it is? But I think it's going to sell for probably 80,000. All right. That is what I often call, and I just want to make sure you guys know my verbiage, a spread. The difference between where you're picking up and where you're selling is 60,000. Are you making 60,000? It doesn't matter how you're doing your business. No, You've got realtor commissions to pay. You've got to account for how much it took you to get that property in the first place, your acquisitions costs. You're going to have closing costs. There's other things associated, but that's what somebody's going to call your spread. And that's not your take home spread. All right. So let's kind of break that down. This is be our commission on something that sells at that price, the 80,000. This number will automatically change depending on these prices. If it goes down, if it's a $20,000 lot, our commission goes up to 20. That's the cap for us. If you're all the way up at a $250,000 sale, our commission comes down to 12. But what this is also paying your realtor commissions and everything in regards to that MLS listing. So let's say you're not using us. You would move this to potentially a 6%, only paying the realtor. Okay. TC cost, you're gonna have that anyway. Whatever number that you are have agreed with a TC, that's what you would put here. For us, if it's a double close, which I have this marked as, it's a $4.99 charge. Onboarding costs with OLM, if you're not using us, you can go ahead and just mark that right off. But that's the cost that we ask you to invest in utilizing us. And that really goes towards all that we invest that goes way beyond 600 in terms of the drone footage alone. But that's just an understanding of what costs they're calculating here. You could just delete that if you're working for yourself here. Closing costs, that depends on how you wrote the contract, but we always calculate about 1,500 there. And then acquisitions cost, that depends on how you found this lead. But we, again, calculate 1,500 there. If you had funding costs, because you filled out something over here that's over my head, that would actually calculate right here. And then you would know your net profit and what check you're going to walk away with, whether you use us or somebody else to play with those numbers. Okay. I love that this exists, because the issue is that so many people are calculating their numbers more like my purchase price is 20,000, my sale price is 25,000, and I'm going to walk away with 5. But no, if you're actually looking at something that has a spread like that, and let's say you are not working with us at all, let's just like zero these out and just talk about the fact that you're also going to have closing costs and acquisitions costs. Okay, at least we're not in the negative, right? But you're only walking away with 2,000. And if you're actually doing all that marketing, if you're actually making the photos, if you're writing the listing descriptions, if you're running the drone pilot yourself, if you're doing all of those things, you just have to calculate your own time. Was it worth it for you getting that sold, depending on how easy it was, for only a 2,000 profit? So this is just fun for spread, like time management. Is it worth it? I'm gonna take that back so I keep all my calculations. I just want you guys to know about that side. We feel good about that side. Any questions, comments, concerns? Cool. Love it. If one pops into your brain in 5 minutes, you can still unmute and talk to me and we'll find it out. All right, let me see if I can copy yours, Ed, here. While I'm starting some of that boring drudgery I already talked about on the beginning of the acquisition side, Ed, do you mind unmuting and just telling us the situation? Like, how did you find this particular lead? Have you had a conversation with them? Where are you at with that?
Okay, so I just through direct mail, and I made an offer, then she countered back. Then anyway, we've been on the phone 2 or 3 times, emailed a bunch of times. So I just sent her a new agreement because the other one expired. So she's supposed to be signing it and sending it back. I just want to make sure I've got it paying 40. Think I could sell it for double that, before all the cost and everything. It's on a river, so the very back of the lot has a flood. It's like a flood zone, but it is on a river. It's on a nice street. Some of the comps in the area look good. The only thing that's worrying me is we originally started talking back in early summer. Now it's like late summer, so and it's up in New Hampshire, so I'm sure the weather's, may factor into the sales cycle. So I just want to get your opinion since you offered to pump them. So
Absolutely.
And if you can't pull it up, you should be able to pull it up, I think, by that APN. But if not, I put her name in there. And I think I spelled it wrong. It's actually WLOWRY instead of EY. I think I typed the wrong. So Gail Lowry's her name.
I'm trying to find it right now. If I put everything that you put after APN number, I
Yeah.
end up in Wisconsin. And you said New Hampshire, so I already know I'm
Yeah, it's
off
Carol.
there.
What platform are you using to pull it up in Land ID?
Yeah, I'm in Land ID.
I think if you put in Carroll County, New Hampshire, and then type in, by the last name, just put in LOWRY, it'll pop up. Maybe that's the
Okay.
way I found it.
Yeah, I think I was searching the wrong way. And I'll share my screen, guys, after I find this. I'm just trying to save as much computer juice as I can while I find this. All right. I'm feeling more confident we're in the right spot, but this is copying over as a link, so I don't want that. It's giving away that you use Pebble. Do you like Pebble?
I do like Pebble, yeah.
Nice.
How'd you know I use Pebble?
Because when I click on that link, it pulls up a Pebble link.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the link. I just want it to regular copy.
Here, let me just see if I can send you the, let me see, hold on a second. My computer's slow for some reason.
I just need to retype it. Thanks to everybody hanging out while I find it.
Let me see if I can send you the map right link. All right, bear with me one second. Try that Land ID link I just sent you.
Cool. Nice. You just made it extra easy for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ooh, it's got a lot of water coverage, huh?
Yeah, you can build a house in the front though. There's houses next door, so the front part you could definitely build a house on. And at the
Yeah, right
back,
here.
way back in the back left, there's a river back there. So there's quite a few houses on that road.
Yeah, it seems like this 440 feet, as long as you're at that elevation, you're doing pretty good. Yeah, we just never want to see that it's 80% covered in water. And this
Yeah.
is technically like 50 or 60, so not too worried about that. All right, so the first thing I want to note here is it's 5.5 acres and exactly where it is. So Carroll County.
Here, let me send you.
And then is it already zoned residential or is there something we've got to change about that?
It's zone residential. Let me go back and see if I can get one of the comps, and then you'll be in the right area on Zillow. Hold on one second. Let me
Nice.
my computer system.
Makes it extra easy.
All
All right. I was goofing around earlier, making sure that Redfin would work for me. Let's go with Carroll. Down to New Hampshire. Come on, pull it up for me. Excellent. So ideally, I want to be like really within that specific area. I don't want to.
I'm going to send you a comp right here on that same road.
Beautiful.
Sorry, my computer's just like back to cock out. Let's see here. What's going on?
You and me both. It's totally fine. In fact, I need to switch that over.
I've got some trading software open and it just like hogs up all the memory. So, all right, here we go. All right, let's see. Okay, try that link that I just sent you. It's on Redfin. I'd rather be on Zillow, but that one I found on Redfin. And it's got the same Pine River Road, so it's that one's smaller,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like 82,000. So, and then there's a couple others that are in the area that I looked at.
Do you know how long this sat on market before it sold?
Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me go back to my
I'm actually going to go to Zillow too. I'm more comfortable with Zillow, but I always think of Zillow as being single family. And I think that's just because that's where I
when you go to
spend.
Zillow, just type in that Pine River Road, Effingham, see if it'll pull up that area. Let me
I'm
see.
sure it will.
One second. Let me go back to my let's see.
Because the only thing that makes me like a little wary of that particular comp is it sold last year. It puts it a little outside of the
Yeah,
ideal.
okay. Let me see. I've got another one here that
Hello.
um
Now my computer's thinking real hard too.
I got another one that's a little bit further away that sold in March, about half the size for 75,000.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. It's the screen share on top of having more than 5 tabs that gets a little cranky. Yeah, last sold for 45,000 in 2023 is what it's
Which would
showing
be
on Zillow. The Zero Pine Road, River Road.
okay. So for 45 or 80, let's see, hold on a second.
Showing,
This
let's
thing's got to
see,
be
let's
crazy.
double
So
check.
slow.
So the sale that was May of 2023 is 45.
I've got some other ones here. I just let me just get
Yeah,
to
let's
them.
see what we can find together, and I can officially share again now that Zillow's working for me. Thank you, Steve, for pulling that. I did see that in the chat. Share. Try again. Okay, so we want to use some of these things to help us out. I only want to be looking at land, thank goodness. The sooner the better, but if we can be in the last year, that would be the best. Obviously, we need a bigger boundary though. Not that big. Sold. Lots. What else is on here that's hurting this? Lot size 10 acres. Okay, we don't need that. We want to be between 2 and 5. Phew, that's changing our comp field. Thank goodness. I was getting nervous. I was about to be like, there's no sales. But it was me. It was a user error.
I've never been up there, but it looks beautiful from the pictures and everything. It looks like a super nice area, country.
Well,
Okay,
I
what is
have
this
stuff
75 acres?
all the time, and it's amazing, just so you know.
Oh, do what now?
I've been up to New Hampshire. I live like 20 minutes from the New Hampshire border,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay. Yeah, it looks beautiful. I mean, see those pictures? It looks incredible.
it is especially in the fall where it does foliage season.
Yeah.
Really, most times of the year it's beautiful. It's an amazing area.
I know after sending that mailer and people calling back and me looking at the different, I was like, I think I need to take a trip to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I am very impressed with you sent that you send a mailer to New Hampshire. I've never heard anybody doing land in New Hampshire yet. You're the first.
I did New Hampshire and Vermont. I didn't get any responses from Vermont, but New Hampshire, I did get a few responses from.
That actually makes me feel really good because I have wanted to do stuff in my own backyard, literally, and I've always kind of shied off because the mentality up here in the Northeast is people are very like possessive of their land,
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but that's great to hear that you've gotten some response. That's
And I
awesome.
mailed earlier in the year because I was, worried about. I wanted to get it sold, buy it, and get it sold before the winter came because I figured there's a good chance it may just sit if it's under a foot of snow or something. I'm assuming that gets a lot of snow up there.
Well, here's the thing: is that the way that everything kind of works around here is the up there is as valuable during the winter as it is during the summer because of the skiing and because of the winter sports up there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, like I've been up in Maine and a whole bunch of places, New Hampshire, Vermont. It's very much a winter sports community up there.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you say that, and then we note that things actually sell in like February around here. They have got almost all the sales I just looked at had fall photos, which by the way, Ed, if you don't have photos of this yet, go get them. Especially
exactly.
like catch that fall season.
Yeah, I'm hoping she signs the agreement fairly soon where I can do that, but in the next month or two while their leaves will be peak,
The the best pictures are going to be during September and October, definitely.
And now you know somebody who might put boots on the ground. You just got to call them up and be like,
Yeah, that's
"Hey."
right. Okay. Mario.
I would be open to going and take a drive and looking at some stuff if you need me to. Sure.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks.
You bet.
All righty. Why did this not calculate for me? All right, 1 second. I just got my sold comps. I want to check this area for sales. Where are we? Zillow. And for anybody that might be asking in their head, why is Corianne willing to look at 2.64 or 3.5 lots? You're right. I would normally be like 5 acres to 5 acres. The difference here is you can't build on all that 5 acres. So what that means is it's emotional equity. You can really like the land that you have that isn't water bound or has a potential flood risk is what you can actually build on, which what I'm seeing is most of these properties, the 2.6, 2.5, 3.6 are the buildable areas, like full land completely available. So then I look at that additional sale value of having a river in your backyard and hearing it like trickle. Oh, it's so lovely. It's also an emotional equity choice that somebody would say, you know what, I love the idea of having a stream in my backyard. I'm willing to pay 80,000 or I'm willing to pay 85 or I'm willing to pay 90. It's going to be one of those more retail buyers who's willing to push into that range. And it's going to be because of that aspect, not something that we can actually just calculate. So I'm willing to look at these.
And when I was looking at it, I was kind
reason.
of figuring the same thing, that maybe like the front part was maybe worth $25,000 an acre, and the back part would be worth less because it's in the. But the fact that it's on the river does have some value to some people. But the front part obviously is. I mean, you got to buy the whole lot to get it, but the front part's definitely worth more than the back part. But so I kind of figured that into my price that I thought I could get, 80 or more for it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And this might be your wall because let's see how long this has been listed again. I think it's at 100. It's smaller. So granted, there's that. But the other aspect is it's been sitting on market for over 100 days. Let's see how, with 8 saves, there's that bad counter that you see. Okay, when we're up in the 80s on a list price, we might have to sit here for a while. which could be fine as long as you're you're creating that kind of space in your contract for a much longer close.
Right.
Otherwise, you might want to be looking at beating out prices like this so that the regular old Joe is scrolling Zillow and it goes, ooh, 5 acres for only 65,000. I haven't seen something like this in this area. And that's how you make that completion of a sale while also under contract or within that timeline. If you wanted to traditionally flip this and pick it up at 40, it's a good investment. The question is, when is it actually going to sell at 85? Is it now? Or is it holding and sitting on it for 2 years? You don't know, but you do know based off the sales that you're seeing in the 75s and the 85s that you can list this at 65, beat all of them out and actually make a quicker sale.
Right. That's a good point.
I think something that would be of value though is to find these people that have sold the actual sold properties, not the for sale ones.
Now that
And ask them.
That $85,000 one didn't have the best pictures either, which would kind of, my pictures would be better than that though, because I would get a drone and all that kind of stuff. I mean, those pictures really help sell a property, you know. Now that's got good pictures there.
I'm glad you said this because what we're about to check is because look, it's backing water. I think it's a little bit off of the water. But okay, this has got better photos, right? That's an added plus towards the sale. It sold recently, which to me, I'm like, yes,
2 weeks
on a
ago,
comp. Let's see.
And it's
Hold
almost
on,
like 40% the size of the other one.
Boom. Listed for sale this summer, sold.
So basically 90% of list price.
Yeah, but I honestly, this comp alone says that it would be worth taking better photos, having drone footage, having a video, going through the whole process that we would do on dispositions, whether you do it yourself or do it with us, and listing at 80, 85, and seeing what buyers you pull because somebody out there might offer you a 72 and you're like, great, I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't do, I mean, drone photos, $150, $250. You're going to get way more money than that in, you know, higher price. Plus using an agent, I think you get more money as well than if you try to sell it yourself. In many cases, it's worth, even after you pay their commission, I think it's still, you get more money anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. Guys, I broke something on my thing because what you should be seeing is a offer one that's probably around, it'd probably be around 40,000 actually. And then an offer two, like how big you can push it. That's normally at like a 60,000. So now I have to go back to our tech guys and go, what did I do? What did I click on that broke me getting that offer price? And I will report it back to you. But anybody that is willing to go onto our portal, pull that calculator, do this and tell me whether they're getting this correctly or whether they're seeing an error, it would mean a lot to me so that I can make sure that I'm giving you guys the right kinds of resources. Because we did verify that the sales site is working, but clearly I've broken something in this calculation where I'm not getting that full offer price. But that being said, just based off of my knowledge and what I'm seeing here, I think you've got a good buy price and I think you've got a good sale price. You just need to have a long enough window in case you're selling in February.
Okay, that's good. Well, thank you for taking a look at it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mario, for your input as well. Good to know that the winter is not a negative up there. So
Was that Mario or Gordon?
It's me, it's Gordon.
oh, it's Gordon. I'm sorry.
Gordon.
Okay.
Can I ask really quickly, do you have an agreement on this yet?
I've got one sent out to her. I'm waiting for her to sign it because the first one I sent to her, family came in town and then it expired. So.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to be tuned closely to see how this goes.
Okay.
Yeah, please come back and just report it for us because
let you know.
especially if you can take some good photos, get this on the market and get it sold before Thanksgiving, you could have yourself one fat turkey.
Cool.
Look at that. All right, guys. What else we got here in the chat? Any other properties we can look at? Oh, Mario. Mario, I see yours. 1 second.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I'm happy to be here with you guys. This is the highlight of my week. If you missed it, last week we did AI stuff. Mario, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Did
a
you
mega
leave
session.
with brain like soaking down your ear? That was our goal. Did it bust
Again?
your brain?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So much
Good.
information and it's so exact, but not this session or sessions except we have here.
Do you happen to have a land ID link for me already so I can make this super easy?
No, sorry, I do not have land ID currently. You know,
That's
I'm
totally fine.
from LPG and I only have my CRM system, so therefore, and this is also out of a blind offer where I get one of the responses which I get that the customer, the owner is interested to sell, but I'm not sure if I'm right with my pricing. So therefore I said, okay, when we make comps, because it's in the middle of nowhere, no access, no anything,
Mm.
and maybe the price was a little bit too high from my side for the offer. I offered nearly $20,000.
Do you know? Okay, San Bernardino County, just checking.
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Go back to sharing. Yes, this is fine. Sorry, guys, me versus tech. You're watching the battle. I'm actively losing. Okay, there we go. And come on, you can do it. Bernardino. So what do you use to comp, Mario? Like if you're looking at a property, what's the easiest thing for you with where you live?
We made it out of a blind of a campaign which we get trained, and so we counted several sizes of lots where we say, okay, we take an average of the acre price and multiplied it with the acre and send out the blind offers. So this is how the price
Okay.
was calculated in this situation, and therefore, because it's in the middle of nowhere, it might be too high. But,
Is there access at all or no easements, no nothing?
no exit at all, no access at all. So
Mm. Um, the first thing I think in that situation is you've got to find a way to get access. Like if it's an easement over somebody else's property that you've got to do that work for, it's going to make it sellable in a way that it might not have been before. But I'm also curious, do you know what the zoning is currently?
no,
Okay. Interesting. Well, let's hope we can get answers.
just check my CRM system.
Okay, yeah, let's try
Zoning, I
latitude and
have only the
longitude.
number of zoning 8,000. Does this help?
No, it doesn't. But funny enough, we could probably, you said, what is it? Zoning what?
8,000 in.
Okay, let's see if we can turn that into something here in a second. But first, latitude. Oops. Sorry, I'm like old school having to type this, guys, because I can't copy paste. 116. Where did it take me?
It might be a minus 160, no?
I was hoping it would be smart enough to just do it. Ooh, it looks like we're on to
Yeah.
something. Excellent. That's good news. Is this looking right, Lauren? 20 acres?
Yeah, 20 acres.
Beautiful. Land use type. Land value, assessed property. So she bought this in 2022?
Because I do not remember when she said she told me that she bought it, but she let me know that she's interested to sell it from a price because I was one of those who sent it her. So she get it. It listened that it hears that she get more offers, and mine was one of the attractive ones. But we didn't talk about her price, what she paid for it.
Okay. I wouldn't expect you to always talk about when they bought it and what they paid for it. That's some of those questions could be a little abrasive. I would expect a conversation of what has you selling it now. Because if the answer is, well, I bought it late 2022 thinking I was going to build on it, and I've run into all these issues because the county won't let me, it's telling you first motivation. She's in a pickle. She wanted this outcome. She's not getting it. And you always want to know that for like a negotiation standpoint. The other aspect is that's going to tell you what are going to be your issues next. Like you might be able to still get her money in her pocket, walk away because you know the right type of buyer who wants something like this if she wasn't. But all of that is more beyond comping. That's more in the negotiation and rapport building side of things. What I'm seeing here, I don't know if it's completely factual. I'd want to check some other places, is that she bought this late 2022 for 27,000. And if she's willing to sell to you for 20,000, then she's already taking a 7,000 loss, right?
Yeah.
Had she mentioned that to you? Oh, I'm going to take a loss at that 20,000.
No, nothing, except she also did not, except I did not ask her except when she bought it or how much she paid for it, but she did not say anything that she made a loss. She only let me know that it's in the middle of nowhere and that there is no access, no road access or anything like that.
Okay. Okay, so we're backing BLM land. What is this? The next thing beyond what is this valued is who is the buyer at this point. Like, given that you don't have access, often for us in a disposition side, if you don't have access and there's not a way of getting access to that property, we're like, it's not the right property. Or we've got to actually purchase it, take additional risk to get that easement in place and get the correct zoning, which is just more of a true land flip situation than it is like a wholesaler assignment, right? Okay, so residential is close. What is this? Sorry guys, I gotta move my own face and then I want to see this in a different way. Let's go to overview. Base map. Yeah, satellite. Ooh, man, when you look at it satellite and it's so brown,
Yeah.
kind of hurts. All of these, I believe, are residential. So, okay, is that a little
Is
house? I think it's a little house. Oh, lovely. Or a little shack, to each his own. Total of 5 acres. How is a property that has a structure zoned? I'm getting into the nitty gritty and I know we're coming up to the end of this, but I would like to get some answers for you. So I'll probably stay here a little bit longer while I'm thinking and talking out loud about this particular property. If anybody else has any questions, comments, or concerns, so that I'm also saving you guys time and you can get out of here if you want, just let me know. Okay. I think it's a positive thing that you have residential nearby. But you also have BLM nearby, which is very unique to see. Like, for example, I think this is standing out as a residential property, like completely surrounded by BLM. A little unusual. I don't need contour lines right now. Don't need to know wilderness areas. I don't really need to know that.
I think the only problem what I do not have is flooding. This is in a flooding zone. I've had before.
With as brown as it is, I
Yeah.
highly doubt it, but let's check. Let's check for you. Okay, so there's some water running through it. Surface water. Yeah, okay. So you basically got mountain runoff that will go down these lines, but probably only in the spring. I'm curious though, what a surveyor would say in terms of like where you can build based off of that. I'm guessing like right here, if that were even possible. Okay. I could get into the weeds here because I'm a little bit nerdy, but let's go ahead and just look at this county in general and what's selling there, because that's going to get us closer to actual numbers. We don't need to know exactly who the buyer is, but I always like to. I want to try to envision that. Guys, while you're also hanging out and watching us comp right now. Speaking of which, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, uh-oh. I'm curious, did this bring you value today? Did you learn something? Was it helpful? And if the answer is no, then tell me what you need in your business so I can bring somebody smarter than me to help. How far are you from Big Bear Lake? Because we're out here in the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah, it should be.
we're in a bigger county, so like, what's going on? Oh, okay, so we're in that county, but like way over here. 29 Palms, Yucca Valley. Okay, that's helping me center. So remove boundary. We need to be more over here. Okay, cool. We're in the right space now. Told you as an artist, now you'll see how fantastic I am. Wow. Look at that amazing circle, guys. All right. How big are we? We're 20 acres. So we want to change this to more like. I am scrolling.
You have to change before the acres, the 5 acres to 20 or 50 acres, then you can upgrade the other one.
You're so smart. Thank you. I'm going to go on the bigger side because I think that's probably a negative to us, is that we're a larger property where you're not going to be building on all of that. The 5-acre lots, like that's where most people are thinking when they're building a property. So I want to see the bigger stuff. Sold 35,000. Was this In the middle of nowhere, yes.
Hmm.
Is it buildable? No assigned address, just like us. Okay, they said that you have a chance of creating a haven, but that doesn't always mean it's actually buildable. With this one, 40 acres. Okay, so it's much bigger than ours. Sold at 59, which makes this a less desirable comparable than this one, just because it's the exact same size as ours. What's this one? It's on the other side of the street. Okay, so closer to the mountains in a way that I don't believe we are. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Are we on this side of this Old Dale Street, or are we on the north side?
We're in the north. I would say
Okay.
north side.
I was thinking so. I think we're out here more than we are over tucked towards the mountain. Because that would kind of skew your numbers. Yeah, this is 24 acres, similar to ours, but because it's nestled up against being able to look at this kind of elevation, if that's not comparable to ours, if we find that it is mostly flat, we really need to stick to the mostly flat ones. Let's look at, ooh, what is this? 20 acres. It has a Joshua Tree address though, which is a little bit of a value push. Let's see, how did we list it? Reduced price to sell, interesting. Close access to National Park, downtown to Joshua Tree. That's interesting. Look at this one. Oh, wait, real quick, I want to see how long it took to sell. Oh, only just a mere 3 years if you want to sell that high. Okay.
Okay.
Mental note made. Mental note made. I like to make my checks sooner than that, personally. Okay, flat, 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 flat. Love it. Okay, so here's something to note that I just don't know about your property and would take me a longer time to kind of figure out with some Google Maps, walking about and moving around. I don't know how far away you are from 29 Palms. When she says out there in the middle of nowhere, she could be a city girl. She could be like in LA or New York and like, it's in the middle of
Yeah, it's
nowhere.
New York, yeah. New Jersey.
Ha! Okay, I know what I'm talking about. So to somebody else, like 2.5 miles from 29 Palms is a good thing. But if you're 20 miles from 29 Palms, your value goes down in relation to this. But based off of the numbers that I'm seeing on 20 acre lots, 35.
Yeah.
34, 34. Like I think your quicker sale number for the kinds of moves that we're talking about is about 35. Is it possible to show some value that brings you up into a 50 or a 90? Possible. But given that you don't have access and you don't know much about this area, it's flat, you want to sell it quick, like your resale value is 35.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's just talk about, is that worth your time? Ooh, let's do a 20,000 here. Let's do a 35,000 here. And we talked about the smokescreen number that's like, let's make 15,000. If you were to sell with us, of course, these costs are associated, right? Maybe you know the right buyer. But right now, selling with us, assuming you spent about 1,500 on acquisitions and closing costs at about 1,500, you're walking away with less than 4,000 bucks. Now, get rid of, this is probably where I broke my calculator before, is when I did this. Let's say you know the right buyer, you're willing to, you've got more time than you do money, right? Like I'm going to go do the Facebook advertisements. I'm going to make sure that the drone gets out there and gets me footage. I'm going to do the marketing images, all of those things. then you have the potential to walk away with about 12,000, which
Mhm.
time to money, these are the things that just always kind of become a part of the question. The one thing, that I want to note is if you are going to take this to the MLS to get that 35, you do want to calculate a percentage to pay your realtor. So that's
But
factored in here.
yeah,
Okay, so it's actually probably closer to just shy of 10. But there can be a lot of value in that. So was that
Yeah.
helpful?
absolutely, absolutely. Because exactly, I had a contact with her because this is also a few weeks ago. So therefore, because I was not sure, because I thought I have a too high offer sent to her. So I will rethink about this, and after the figures and the information you gave me, and also show me how to you go through the process and what you take care on if when you look at it, and also in the interview or in the telephone call, what information you are interested to get. I have to reevaluate and get in contact with Lauren again and ask her how we can go further.
Yeah, because you've got to remember that that's the value we bring is that negotiation piece, and you've got to go, hey, like, I'm sorry that you're in a property where there is no access, but because of that, like, really, I can only pay 15,000,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden this becomes worth your time. So those are just things to keep in mind. But I appreciate you bringing a property and let me take a look. I hope you can get it locked up and make that cash.
Yeah, after our session now, it looks for me much more interesting than I had before. Before I had it on hold and I do nothing in the last days.
I'm glad this is
So
helpful.
thank you so much.
Of course. If you need anything else, you know where to find me. I gave my cell phone number earlier in this call. And to everybody that just took the time and added to your business through hopefully gaining some knowledge here, or at least knowing where you can find these resources, I thank you for spending that time with me, and thank you to you for spending that time on your business, because we all need it. And this really is a community where we're willing to share notes because we believe in abundance and we want to see everybody succeed. So as those questions come up in your business, come here. Every Thursday, we have a Q&A call at the same time, same place, 4 p.m. EST. You do have to register for every one. So, please continue to do that and continue to show up. But we try to bring the absolute best value, and it only grows in value when you bring questions. So thank you for doing that.
Hey, Corianne, quick question. Are you finished, or are you still going?
Oh, I'm all done. So questions.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were. I just wanted to ask you one quick. So you're going to check on the broken link thing, and will you email us and let us know if we need to download that spreadsheet again?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me
Okay.
at
So I
least
was going to try
24
to do it
hours.
on my version of it, but I've got too many windows open on this thing right now. I'm gonna have to just close everything down and redo it. But I just
Yeah,
want to know if it was like a broken link.
what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to re-download myself and see if it works for me fresh after I haven't broken anything. If it does,
Okay.
then you'll probably just see a Facebook post that says we're all good on the spreadsheet, guys. Go use it and let me know if you have any breaks. And I'll make sure
Okay.
you're tagged on that Facebook post. Now, if I've got to send out a new one, you'll see it in an email. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thank you for reviewing the property as well.
Of course. I hope it was helpful. Gordon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Hey. All right.
Is marketing and acquisitions going well for you right now?
No, not really. I'm grinding and earning my stripes, as they say.
Yeah, you got to get a lot of no's to get a yes. But are you at least getting leads to have the conversations?
Well, yeah, I work with Alicia, and she, I have a whole thing with her. So yeah, I have several different properties that are, up on Facebook Marketplace and different places. I think about putting stuff on land.com as well, which I think I'm going to. And
Nice.
yeah, the struggle has just been to get the sellers to agree to the right number to open up a larger amount of buyers. That's the thing.
Okay. That's good to know, because you've got to know where you're feeling that pinch in your business so that you
Right.
can expand it. Because that's all negotiations. That's all motivation and how you approach and when you approach. And I think you can get a lot of feedback from a lot of people in that. I'm going to give you some right now, and it is one of the better books that I've had in business in any way, shape, or form. But I think it will benefit you if that's where you're feeling the pinch. And it's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Are you aware of him?
I've heard of that book before, definitely. I will check
Okay.
it out.
Please do, because there's a couple key things that he's going to talk about in that book that will change the way that you're approaching somebody. And I think that can change your conversations. Just a lot of tools in terms of tone and a lot of tools in terms of the questions that you utilize. One of my favorite that especially exists here is called the accusations audit that I use in my acquisitions. So it's a little bit of a tongue twister, but an accusations is basically saying the things that you would expect them in the worst case scenario to be thinking about you, so that their brain automatically says the opposite. Oh, like, oh no, it's not that bad. They kind of like back it up and they talk instead. They're almost backing you up before you've even given a number. And here's what it sounds like, because I think I'm being a little confusing. Oh, I went and I was checking my numbers. Seller, you know what? I really wanted to give you the absolute best price. And I'm sure, if I give you this number, you're going to think that I'm the worst person in the world, because it's not the best number that you could ever, like, I can't give you the number that you want. And I really, really want to. And I feel like I'm probably the worst person in the world. You don't even want to hear the number.
Yep.
You just did it. You laughed. You already felt the uncomfortableness of the fact that I shut up right after I just called myself the worst person in the world. And and the natural thing to then go is, oh, just give me the number. What is the number? Or the natural thing is to be like, well, you probably gave me at least something, right? Like, what is the dollar amount? And that's kind of the response that you're trying to elicit by already saying, like, look, I threw myself under the bus. And then they go, no, what is the number? And you go, well, I really did do the absolute best I could on that number. And I know you were looking for 30,000, but I can tell you that we can get this deal done. We can get it under contract at 20,000. I can get that cash in your pocket, and we're going to close before the end of the year. Something like that that is then giving the negotiation style on the other side.
Yep.
Read the book though, because he says it
yeah.
better than I do.
I'm with you, and I've heard Joe McCall do a very similar routine, and I like how he does it as well. And to give it a little, not to take too much time, but a little bit of context, is a lot of this is me just trying to get the whole thing started. I'm new to this business. I just wanted more than maybe I should have, just to get something going, and I thought the rest of it was just going to work itself out, and it hasn't. And that's where we're at today.
I completely understand. And yeah, well, I appreciate that honesty, because, for anybody that's even listening here, like that's the truth of it. I myself am the same. I got into this business thinking, oh, well, this is, how I'll become a millionaire overnight. Well, it just doesn't work that way. It is actually a grind. Anything that you do is hard. You get to choose your hard, and this is one of them. So even calling yourself out on that and being willing to be honest is like, that is the step to the next step, which is, doesn't matter that that's happening. I'm willing to stick to this until it works for me.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for saying hi. I always love to just know what's going on in your guys' businesses and in your heads. So continue to utilize me for that. And where I can give support or bring the right people, I absolutely will. And with that, I'm going to call it for the night. Guys, go out there, make the calls, write the letters, whatever it takes. Go get some contracts. And I look forward to talking to you soon. I will see you next Thursday. Robin's going to be back. He's bringing us a really cool topic, and you know him, you love him. It's always better when he's around. So can't wait till next week, and I hope to see you guys there.
Thank you
so much. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.